Hey, everybody, welcome back to another Motivation Monday podcast for Monday, June 17th, 2019. As always, hope you had a fantastic weekend, and we are here to get your Monday kicked off in the right way, get you to think about some new stuff, and maybe give you a few ideas for the week that will get your mind moving and get you motivated to get some stuff done on the instrument. So this week I wanted to talk a little bit about something I've been thinking about over the past week and something that I'm really trying to get better at. And it's really helping me with my growth in terms of working new sounds into my playing. And that is the separation between the practice room and the bandstand. I find this to be a very pronounced separation in my life, and something that I've been working on over the past year is really taking the things that I think about in the practice room and really making sure that they come out when I'm on the bandstand or at a jam session or, playing with some friends or something like that. So for instance, let's say you're working on a particular sound over a set of chord changes. Or over a particular type of chord, a sound that you like, a triad pair or an interesting scale or something like that. Now, what I find is that sometimes what I do is I work on this in the practice room, but then when I get on the bandstand, it's so easy to go back to playing in my comfortable old way, relying on the stuff that I always play. And it's almost like I'm in a different frame of mind when I'm in the practice room and when I'm actually out there playing for people, or like I said, just even, jamming with my friends or something like that. And I feel like this can happen to us very, very easily. So that all of this really, really hard work that we do in the practice room, it never really comes out in our playing. And sometimes we listen to recordings of ourselves or we reflect back on the gig that we just played and we think, I've been working on that really hip sounding stuff for a while and I can't recall actually playing any of it when I was, really doing my thing at the gig tonight. And this is really frustrating because it makes you feel like your time spent in the practice room is essentially wasted. If it's not going to come out of your instrument when it really counts, I guess you could actually kind of consider it wasted time. So I want you to think about this week. I want you to think about making sure that you have some kind of bridge between the practice room and, for lack of a better term, real life playing. Now, I've been trying this over the past couple weeks. So on gigs, I really make it a point to think to myself, all right, in this solo, I'm going to apply some of these ideas that I've spent so much time and effort working out in the practice room. I really have to make sure they come out on the horn. And they may not come out perfectly. In fact, they rarely do. But really, you have to try to pull them off in action for you to have any hope of ever really being able to pull them off at any point. So sometimes I get a little bit scared, actually, of trying to play something that's not quite totally worked out yet, not quite perfect. But then I have to kind of remind myself that, hey, if you're not willing to do it now, you're really never going to be willing to do it. So take a chance. That fresh thing that's brand new for you that you've been working on, put it out there. Apply it in your actual solos. And I think you'll find that once you start to build this bridge between the practice room and the bandstand, you'll keep building it. And eventually that bridge will be fully passable for you so that your real life playing experiences will actually reflect the work that you're doing. So I'm curious to know if this is something that ever happens to you. Is this something that where you really do leave the practice room in the practice room and you get really frustrated because you were working on this really cool sounding, hip sounding thing, and then, you go and you play your 3-hour gig and none of it comes out and you're just playing that same old stuff that you always play. And if this would be a beneficial thing to think about. I know for me, it's really, really helping the way that I approach everything. So I'm very curious to know if that happens to any of you out there. But remember, the application is really the important part, right? I mean, the practicing is very important as well. But if you're never applying any of the stuff that you're practicing, then it doesn't really matter, does it? Because nobody hears what you're doing in the practice room. That time is supposed to be so that you can actually say something when you get on the gig, and so that your playing is always evolving and reaching that next level when you're actually playing. So just something that I've been thinking about this week. Hopefully that's helpful. Maybe makes you think about things in a different way. Let me know what you think in the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson Community Facebook group, and maybe we can have a little discussion on this week. All right? Have a great week. Definitely get in the practice room, but make sure some of that stuff from the practice room makes it out of the practice room. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you on Friday with another episode. Have a good one. Bye.